Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Dana Lyons, and we are doing a second concert for Orca Month. And sharing the screen with me is my old friend Rain Adaman. Rain and I have worked on many environmental issues for a long time and gone on numerous rafting trips and generally had a good time. And we're happy to be here. Before we start the show, where we're going to be talking about how we can protect the orcas, the Southern Resident Orcas here in the Salish Sea region, and singing some songs and maybe taking a request or two. I just want to do a land acknowledgement that we are living on territory that was forcibly taken from the Native Americans in the not so far off past. I'm here in Bellingham, which is on Lummi or Nooksack territory. Rain is down in Seattle. Is Duwamish or another tribe? We probably on Duwamish territory there, Rain?
Yes, indeed, we are.
Okay.
Unrecognized Duwamish tribe.
Right. But they should be recognized.
Yep.
And, when you think about it, my friend Jewel James, who's a leader and a treaty rights activist at Lummi, the Lummi Nation, just north of Bellingham. His great-grandfather, if I'm doing the generations right, would have been alive when, the treaties were forced upon them, when their land was taken away. So, a lot of us here, maybe when you were little, you were lucky enough to have a great-grandparent or two alive. So it just gives you a sense of how far back the land was taken from the Native Americans. And I just want to acknowledge that. And I know there's a lot of discussion right now for what is the word I am looking for?
Are you thinking Black Lives Matter?
Yes, and
yes.
Go take that away, Rand.
Oh, sure. And our Orca Salmon Alliance at Washington Environmental Council is a member and participant of who's bringing Orca Month to everyone. Believes it is critical to acknowledge and reflect deeply upon the systemic racism and the police brutality against Black people in our country, and that these injustices are a result of the same social and political inequalities that unfairly place Black, Hispanic, Indigenous, Asian, Pacific Islanders, and other communities of color on the front lines of toxic pollution and environmental burdens across the U.S. And these burdens do not exist in isolation. And as the quality of life for people of color living in environmental justice communities continues to be threatened, the health of a Pacific Northwest most iconic species like the Chinook salmon and Southern Resident Orca is also at risk. So we want to stand in solidarity with Black communities and demand an immediate end to the systemic violence against Black people and only equal policing of Black and brown communities all alike. And so being accountable calls for transparency. Many of our environmental organizations and partners in the region come from historically white-led organizations, and collectively our whiteness brings out who we are, and as a coalition is a constant reminder that we need to do more, be allies in the fight against systemic racism and white supremacy in all its forms. So with that, and with a pandemic looming, I hope people are safe, healthy, and connected with their family and friends to get them through these times.
Right on. Thank you, Rain. Is it restitution I was thinking of? What's the? I'm forgetting the.
Oh.
To pay. There's a. I'm going to use that word. I don't think it's what I'm remembering correctly, but basically, there's a discussion to give some kind of restitution to the descendants of slaves, of African slaves, and to Native Americans. And I think both of those things need to happen, and it's a discussion we're going to have as a country. It has begun, and it's a good discussion, important discussion to have.
Yep.
Yeah, thank you for speaking to so many of the different environmental groups supporting the Black Lives Matter movement. And I wanted to start with a song called Willie Says. Whoop, drop my pick.
You'll need that, Dana.
I will.
Don't lose it.
Don't lose the pick. And Willie Says was written about a Lummi Indian leader, Willie Cooper. And she passed on, I don't know, 20 years ago, but she was a friend of mine, and she was married to my friend Chattaskadim Wichitalam. And Willie and Chattaskadim were leaders in resurrecting the Lummi native religion. And as you may be aware, in many states, Native American religion was illegal until the mid 70s. So that was a really big deal. And I wanted to sing this song both to honor Willie and Chattaskadim, but also to honor Jewel James and Kurt Rousseau and the whole Lummi nation and the team who are working so hard to protect the Salish Sea and to protect the orcas and to bring back Tokate, also known as Lolita, who is being held captive in the Seaquarium in Miami. And I was honored to be a part of the Lummi totem pole journey. I played a few of the shows, but they went all the way back to Miami. I joined them in Washington and Oregon to draw attention to freeing their cousin, Tokate. And the Lummi, for the Lummi, the orcas are family. They are literally their cousins. And so the way they feel about this is that their family members were kidnapped and Lolita / Tokate needs to be returned. And that's what they're working. That's one of the many things that we're working on. But we're very lucky, those of us working to protect the orcas and protect the Salish Sea. The term Salish Sea may be new. I know I can see on there that there are reparations. That's it. Thank you, Carol. Reparations. That's the word I was hunting for. The Salish Sea is a relatively new term. The Puget Sound and the San Juan de Fuca, the waters in Canada. In 2011, it was officially named, this inland sea was named the Salish Sea in the United States and Canada, British Columbia and Washington State. And the Salish, the Coast Salish, is the name of the whole group of many different Native American nations in British Columbia and Washington. And in the inland, they're the inland Salish. So that's why this is called the Salish Sea. But here is a song for Willie. Oh, and I got to remember I get to free rein during and I got to remember to bring you back. Okay, I'll see you.
Bring me back. Please don't forget me.
I'll see you at the end of the song. Willie says, here's a story that you may not comprehend, but the parking lot will crack and bloom again. There's a world beneath the pavement that will never end. The seeds are lying dormant, it will never end. Willie says, if you listen, you can hear the sound of birds. Hear their song above the chaos, hear their words. Listen to their love song that will never end. The seeds are lying dormant, it will never end. If you listen, you may hear. And the old one sits with me above the city, while I watch the madness of the world below. And then she laughs and tells me that it's temporary. Underneath the wild garden waits to grow. Willie says, when you say you are afraid, I understand. In a place where one can rarely smell the land, but the ocean breeze still blows here that will never end. The seeds are lying dormant, it will never end. Willie says, if you listen to this tree, you'll hear its song. It's the music that my people pass along. It's a dream that keeps returning, that will never end. Seeds are lying dormant, it will never end. If you listen, you may hear. And the old one sits with me above the city, while I watch the madness of the world below. And then she laughs and tells me that it's temporary. Underneath the wild garden waits to grow. Willie says, here's a story that you may not comprehend, but the forest here will rise and bloom again. There's a world beneath the pavement that will never end. The seeds are lying dormant, it will never end. Listen to their love song that will never end. It's a dream that keeps returning, that will never end, never end, never end, never end, never end. Willie says, Willie says, Willie says, Willie says, Willie says. Thank you. You bring Rain back in here. There he is.
Hey.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dana. That was beautiful.
And I was thinking about that. The Lummi Nation has already, they have a spot, a sanctuary place for Tokate, the captive orca in Miami, to come home to. And initially, well, I guess they're probably, they don't know that she'll ever be out and fully in the wild, but she'll be, there'll be basically it'll be a large, it'll be a fenced-in area of the ocean, I believe, on Orcas Island, and there her family can come visit her. She can talk, but that's, they've been talking with the Navy about flying her. A lot of logistics are in place to return her back to her home. Her mother is still alive, Tokate. They call her Lolita in the Miami Seaquarium. So we're hoping to bring her home so she can still say hello to her mother while she's still alive. She's been in captivity since 1968. So we so appreciate what the Lummi Nation is doing to bring her home, and the Orca Network, and so many people throughout our region. And I'm here with Rain, and this is part of our Orca Month celebration. And June in Washington, Oregon, and British Columbia, it's Orca Month because we love the orcas here, and the orcas are endangered, and we're all working. We're doing our best to save them. You want to tell us a little bit about it, Rain?
Well, sure. Thanks, Dana. Well, yeah, Orca Month was started about 14 years ago by Orca Network and by Howard Garrett and Susan Berta out of Whidbey Island. And the intent was to bring advocates and orca lovers together to learn more, engage more, do a lot of education, and celebrate the Southern Resident Orcas. And in the last 5 years, the Orca Salmon Alliance has taken Orca Month and really grown it from a small Whidbey Island event to incorporate Oregon, British Columbia, and Washington State. And last year, we had almost 4 dozen events scattered throughout those places and 20,000 people participating. And our social media channels were pretty hot. And this year, due to COVID-19, we have transitioned every single event to be virtual, like this virtual concert that Dana has done for the second time this month. So thank you, Dana, and for all those people who are tuning in and enjoying this Sunday afternoon concert. And we have really been impressed by how many people have participated in the virtual Orca Month. From webinars to concerts to pub trivia to storytelling, Orca storytelling. It's been wonderful. Yeah. And Orca Month continues. We have a couple more days left.
I have not been. I've been stationed here in Bellingham, so I haven't been down on Whidbey. But I don't know if any of the folks on. I saw someone who was here from Whidbey. If any have anyone type on there if you've seen any orcas this year. I'm not sure if they're back in the area or.
They have not been spotted or seen in the Salish Sea. I think maybe the J one little group in the J pod was up off of Vancouver Island, but they haven't ventured into the Salish Sea yet. And June is typically the time that they come into the Salish Sea.
Yes.
And that's why we 13, 14 years ago identified June as a good month to be Orca Month, to greet them.
I just had an amazing, it was just a miracle experience. I happened to be on San Juan Island when a super pod came together. And what a super pod means is for the Southern residents, there's 3 different groups. The J, K, and L pods are what the scientists call them. And they go off in different places in the winter. And then when they come together, often in June, they get together and when they haven't seen each other for months. So it's an incredibly joyous thing. And when I watched this, I watched it for a couple hours and I saw over 100 breaches, orcas coming fully out. You can just see, they haven't seen each other in so long. It's remarkable. So I think they were a little bit late coming back last year too.
Yes.
And so the Southern resident orcas, that live here only eat salmon, mostly king salmon, and then I think some also other species of salmon. Yep. But it's interesting because the orcas are they're the apex predator. They're the top dog in the sea. Like nobody eats them. They can eat anybody they want. And the transient orcas that are traveling through and that are not part of the southern residents, they'll eat seals or anything else. But it's very interesting that our local residents, the southern residents, they eat salmon, but they're very endangered. There's 72 left. Their babies haven't been surviving at a very good rate, and so we're working really hard as a region. We need to reduce pollution. We need to reduce boat noise. We need to remove the dams on the Snake River, which will open up more salmon habitat. There's lots we can do where we're helping to restore salmon habitat. It's all about salmon. It's all about food, and it's about climate change. So we're working on all those things. All right, I'm seeing.
What's the next song, Dana?
The next song. I'm seeing we got friends from all over the place here. Good to have you here. I can see your comments. I want to sing. Since we're talking about the orcas right now, I wanted to sing The Great Salish Sea. And this song is about, is written from Granny's perspective. Granny was the matriarch of the southern residents, and she lived to be around 104 years old. And she passed on, I don't know, 5 years ago or something like that. But my friend Stephanie Buffum is one of the many people working to protect the orcas. She said, "Hey, you got to write a song from Granny's perspective," and she said, "Write about it, the changing sound of boats over the last century. Going from the sound of the Native American dugout canoes to the sailing ships." And now to the super tankers and the giant boats, ships coming in and out. And when the water is quiet, orcas can talk to each other through their song at least 7-8 kilometers. And when there's ships going by, they can maybe hear 100 yards. So it really affects them a lot. So there's a movement to create quiet zones or quiet periods of time, so the deafening noise is not 24 hours a day for them. So we're working on that too. But this is called the Great Salish Sea. See you in a couple minutes. Bye. We will swim 1,000 miles to reach the shores of Emerald Isles, with salmon spawning by the million, herring spawning by the billion. Gather with our pods again, the summer food, the summer friends, to raise our babies safe and free. We gather in the Salish Sea. Oh, hush, hear the swish of the boats on the water, the hollowed out cedars, sons and the daughters, the rhythm of paddles caressing the water, the rhythm of paddles to come greet the orca. Remember the legend, the myth and the story, a long time ago when we witnessed the glory, with thousands and thousands of whales swimming free. The orcas come home to the Great Salish Sea. Oh. I hear your song from many miles, your distant thoughts, your distant smiles. Today we fish in different bays. Tonight we meet again to play. Oh, hush, hear the swish of the boats on the water, the great sailing ships with the sons and the daughters, the wind and the wood as cuts through the water, the wind and the wood sailing out to the orca. Remember the legend, the myth and the story, a long time ago when we witnessed the glory, with thousands and thousands of whales swimming free. The orcas come home to the Great Salish Sea. Oh. 100 times around the sun I saw the slaughter, smelled the blood, the water turning blue to brown, the metal ships, the screaming sound. I cannot hear your song today. The salmon gone, the herring lays, and more the ships do come. Will anybody hear my song? Oh, hush, hear the scream of the ships on the water, the great super tankers, the coal ports, the freighters, the deafening noise overtaking the water, the deafening noise overcoming the orca. Remember the legend, the myth, and the story a long time ago when we witnessed the glory with thousands and thousands of whales swimming free. The orcas come home to the great Salish Sea. Oh, hush, hear the voice from both sides of the border, the rallies, the blockades, the brave sons and daughters, the people speak out for protecting the water. The people are rising to come save the orca. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. There's so many of you packed into my room here. Live concerts during the pandemic.
Yeah, actually, last week I watched a live concert from Estonia, and it was fantastic.
That's so cool. That is so cool. Yeah, what a trippy time we are in. And you'll notice that Rain and I are both wearing the official Orca uniform. Rain will model it. Protect the water, protect the salmon, protect the orca. We're a cult.
Yes, and Dana has many of these T-shirts available.
He does.
They're beautiful, though.
Pitch there. Cowswithguns.com. Get yours now.
Yes.
But yeah, one of the fascinating things for the folks watching from different parts of the country is our region we're so into the orcas that so there's 72 of them, and you can kind of see the fins. You can see the fins on Rain's shirt there, but those are actual silhouettes of the fins of some of our southern resident orcas, and they're named. They have not scientific numbers, but people have also named them, and people can walk up to the shirt, and people have memorized all the fins, and they can name which. Isn't that wild? That's how serious we are about the orcas here. They are our charismatic megafauna, and we are very proud of them. And that's how. And the interesting thing about the whole fight to save the orca is you can't save the orca without really cleaning up and protecting the whole Salish Sea. And really, we got to save ourselves to save the orca. It's big.
Yeah.
It's big.
It's really huge because the Southern Resident Orcas are threatened by three major issues. One is toxic pollution, vessel noise and disturbance, basically very loud Salish Sea, and the lack of prey, their prey abundance. They're dependent on a threatened species. And so the less they can find, the less they can eat, the more toxics get emitted from their fat reserves, and also the harder that it is to echolocate food. So, and it's not going to be one solution that takes care of the southern residents. It's going to be a whole string of bold actions, all working in unison together.
Yes, and if any region can do it, we can do it. We have a long history. We don't have our environmental act totally together here in the Pacific Northwest, but we have done, well, you know what I mean, right? But we've accomplished a lot. Our region, we there were 6 proposed new coal ports, coal export terminals in the area, and we defeated them all in Washington and Oregon. British Columbia's been doing a great job trying to stop the pipelines up there, and that battle goes on, but they haven't been built yet. That would bring down the tar sands oil here. We think we can stop them there, my friend Paul Sanfuegos, earlier in the stream, I saw he requested Drop of Water, and I know Rain requested that last week, so I'll play that sometime today. But I got to sing Drop of Water at the dam removal ceremony in the Olympic National Park when they removed the Elwha dams, and that was an incredible thing. We accomplished that. We stopped the nuclear power plant on the Magic Skagit River. We can do it. If we can do all that, we can remove the Snake River dams. We can protect the orcas. We just have to keep working, and people of all ages can do this. I know children love the orcas, and they're doing their best to help stop pollution from going into the sound and helping to restore salmon habitat. But all of us can make a difference. We can pull together and create this beautiful habitat.
Yeah, and just to add to that before you get to your next song, Dana, is that Orca Month has an Instagram feed, and every day for the month of June, we've posted some actions that people can take. And you can also visit Orca Month website, so orcamonth.wordpress.com. And there's a list of things that you can do.
And when I can, I glance up at the comments coming in, and we got friends watching from Boston and Eugene, Oregon, and up in British Columbia and Ohio, and a bunch from around the Salish Sea, Poulsbo, Whidbey. So thank you for Tenasket. All right,
Tenasket. All right. Love Tenasket.
I need to go to Tenasket. That's another dry spot I want to go visit. So maybe we'll come over and see you in Tenasket soon. All right, I'll play you another tune here. We'll free you there, Rain. Okay, we'll see you in a few minutes.
Okay.
This is called Swimming in the Big. Sometimes this song becomes painfully true. My portfolio is high. I'm going on vacation. Anywhere I wanna, put it on my card. I could use a little sun and to see some ancient ruins. The pyramids are calling, off to Egypt I will fly. I go swimming in the big Egyptian river, bathing in the waters of denial. The sun is shining down and everybody's happy, bathing in the waters of denial. My job is so secure and my government is stable. The weather's getting better, a little warmer every year. And now we've got free trade and everyone will prosper. The locals here are happy. I think I'll have another beer. Let's go swimming now. We're swimming in the big Egyptian river, bathing in the waters of denial. He's got it all. The sun is shining down and everybody's happy, happy. He's so happy, happy, bathing in the waters of denial. I thought I heard a bomb. It must be a celebration. If anything was wrong, they tell me on TV. Sometimes I am amazed how perfect things are going. I think I'll do some shopping and take a little time for me. Everybody's doing it. We're swimming in the big Egyptian river. Side stroke crawl, bathing in the waters of denial. He's got it all. The sun is shining down, and everybody's happy, happy. He's so happy, happy, bathing in the waters of denial. Oh yeah, everybody's doing it. We're swimming in the big Egyptian backstroke, a breaststroke, a side stroke, a crawl, bathing in the waters of denial. He's got it all. The sun is shining down, and everybody's happy, happy. He's so happy, happy, bathing in the waters of denial. We'll go bathing in the waters of denial. Thank you. Oh, you're too kind.
So 2 weeks ago, someone requested cows with guns. We never got around to hearing that from.
And I didn't even see that request.
Well, that was 2 weeks ago.
2 weeks ago. Okay.
You're going to finally adhere to a request from 2 weeks ago?
Was it during Orca Month?
Yes, it was.
Well, all right. We'll break out cows with guns. And Paul, I haven't forgot drop of water. And I see we got people we got Bellingham, Port Angeles, Squim. All right. Okay. So here's another song about a large mammal. By Rain. Fat and docile, big and dumb, they look so stupid, they aren't much fun. Cows aren't fun. They eat to grow, grow to die, die to be at the hamburger fry. Cows well done. Nobody thunk it, nobody knew, no one imagined the great cow guru. Cows are one. He hid in the forest, read books with great zeal. He loved Che Guevara, a revolutionary veal. Cows say tongue. He spoke about justice, but nobody stirred. He felt like an outcast alone in the herd. The cow doll drums. He moved, we must fight, escape or we'll die. Cows gathered around because the stakes were so high. Bad cow pun. But then he was captured, stuffed into a crate, loaded onto a truck where he rode to his fate. The cows are bums. He was a scrawny calf who looked rather woozy. No one suspected he was packing an Uzi. Cows with guns. They came with a needle to stick in his thigh. He kicked for the groin. He pissed in their eye. Cow well hung. Knocked over a tractor and ran for the door. 6 gallons of gas flowed out on the floor. Run, cows, run. He picked up a bullhorn and jumped up on the hay. We are free-roving bovines. We run free today. We will fight for bovine freedom and hold our large heads high. We will run free with the buffalo or die. Cows with guns. They crashed the gate in a great stampede, tipped over a milk truck, torched all the feed. Cows have fun. 60 police cars were piled in a heap, covered in cow pies, covered up deep. And much cow dung. Black smoke rising, darkening the day. 12 burning McDonald's. Have it your way. We will fight for bovine freedom and hold our large heads high, everybody, and hold our large heads high. We'll run free with the buffalo. We will run free with the buffalo or die. Cows with guns. The president said, enough is enough. These uppity cattle, it's time to get tough. Cow dung flung. The newspapers gloated, folks sighed with relief. Tomorrow at noon, they would all be ground beef. The cows on buns. The cows were surrounded. They waited and prayed. They mooed their last moos. They chewed their last hay. Cows outgunned. The order was given to turn cows to whoppers, enforced by the might of 10,000 coppers. But on the horizon, surrounding the shoppers, came the deafening roar of chickens in choppers. We will fight for bovine freedom and hold our large heads high. We will run free with the buffalo or die. Oh, oh, cows with guns. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you up there in the cheap seats. Thank you. A stirring performance. This is what's come to, folks. This is what's come to. We're all under house arrest. Even the performers are under house arrest. We have to fantasize about applause. Thank you. Oh, you're too kind. Oh, thank you. Oh, down in the orchestra pit. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Let's bring Rain in. I know Rain. I think I got a standing ovation from Rain. Oh my God, he's going crazy. Oh, Rain. Yeah. Don't break your headset, Rain. Relax. Okay.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my God.
That mosh pit.
Was
wow. Excellent.
Rain, how many hours were you waiting in line to make it into the mosh pit for this show?
14.
14 hours.
That's right.
And what's cool about waiting to get into the pandemic mosh pit is you can sleep in your own bed while you're waiting to get into the imaginary mosh pit. But I took away from the magic there. You waited 14 hours. Was it raining there on the cold sidewalk? Rain? I mean, oh my God.
It was brutal.
But it was worth it. Just for that. I mean, the other songs are good, but that performance really just kind of put Orca Month in. Wow. It's all about big mammals in the end. It's all about big mammals.
That's right. Well, there's a lot of chatter on chat box. I think that's your orchestra for today's concert.
Oh, okay.
People are really excited to hear that song, Cows with Guns.
Oh, yes. Okay. It's Alan's birthday. Happy birthday, Alan.
Oh, yes. Happy birthday.
Pennsylvania. Okay. Oh, yes. Coopville. Okay. Port Townsend.
And
Darwin.
Avery.
Oh, my friend Jack is watching from Darwin. Jack, I've got my Crocodile Dundee hat right out there. I even thought about wearing it today, but I can't get it now because I'm chained to the microphone here. But Jack and I, if you haven't seen our Cane Toad Muster, do you know my song Cane Toad Muster, Rain? It is
I don't think so.
Obscure one. Okay. This, for you exotic species geeks, cane toad muster is a must. It's cane toads are. It's a rough, sad story in Australia. They've taken over half the continent, and anything that eats a cane toad dies. And so,
Ooh.
yeah, yeah.
Ooh.
So all the reptiles, all the big snakes, all the the dingoes. It's bad. It's bad. So anyway, I wrote cane toad muster for the folks at the Cane Toad Busters in the Kimberley. And then Jack Tinapple is watching from Darwin, who's definitely the furthest person away. Can anyone challenge Darwin, Australia, for the furthest away? I mean, that's even early in the morning. My God, Jack, it's like 7 in the morning there. What are you doing up? Jack's a rock and roller. Oh, you're in quarantine too. All entertainers are unemployed right now, friends. We're all stuck behind the computer screen trying to amuse ourselves. But anyway, that's a cane toad muster. That was actually requested that last time. I don't know if we'll get to that today, but that's yeah. Anyway, you can see if you look up cane toad muster, you can see Jack and I playing it live with. We were green screening it, and there's these outback highway shots behind that Jack and his brother filmed. I love that video. In any case, we've gone from orcas to cows to cane toads.
Should we go back to orcas?
Oh, yes, it is Orca Month.
Right. And here in the chat box, we have, I think, Susan Berta on Whidbey Island joining us today.
Susan.
And she has organized a watch party on her page.
Oh, that is so sweet.
Hooray, hooray.
Hi, Susan. Hi, Wendy.
Yes.
Hi, Howie.
Hello.
All the Orca Network
Lovely
team
people.
on Whidbey Island. If you're not familiar with Orca Network, if you're into orcas, I mean, I know my friend Evan is watching in Boston, but I mean, if you're into orcas, even if you're from Boston, even if you're from Pennsylvania, the Orca Network is the coolest grassroots group. Little grassroots group. They let you know when the orcas are showing, and you can learn all sides. Go check out the Orca Network. We're broadcasting today via StreamYard to my music Facebook page, the People for Puget Sound, the Orca Month Facebook page, the Orca Network Facebook page, and the Orca Salmon Alliance Facebook page. Did I get that right, Rain?
You did.
Great
job, Dana.
Sometimes I'm impressed with what I can. I couldn't remember reparations, but I could remember those 5 things. But okay. That's okay. That's the beautiful thing about live. I like watching live shows because people make mistakes, and and it's like that's living drama. It's like, oh my God, how is he going to recover from that? But it's a supportive crowd here, and I appreciate that. We're all applauding. We're all special here. Everyone's under house arrest. You can wear it I can assume that the whole crowd today is wearing our Orca shirts. I know the Orca heads out there have got, that's all they have. All their entire wardrobe has little orcas on them: socks, ties, hats, bedspreads. That's one of the most fascinating things about the Zoom era is we get to look in each other's homes. We get to, so like I was commenting to Rain, like Rain has some very classy artwork behind him. I don't know if Rain is responsible for that classy artwork, but he does have classy artwork behind it. It's very cool. But you can look inside. But I remember I did a show for I sang a song at an Orca Network thing, and the one of the rooms was just filled with all this orca art. It was great. It was great. But if you come to the Great Northwest, you've got to buy at least 7 things with orcas on them.
Like this T-shirt.
Exactly. Available at cowswithguns.com. Oh, there was another plug. Slid right under there. So, where are we?
Another orca song.
Another orca song.
Or a salmon song. Or a salmon song.
A salmon song. Yes, I'll sing. I'm going to sing the Drop of Water song, which is not directly about orcas or salmon, but they are pretty indirectly. Basically, Drop of Water. This song is about breaking through a dam, and I wrote this song about a struggle to stop a dam on the Old Man River in southern Alberta. And Milton, born with a tooth, led that struggle. And I went and met Milton and heard that story, and I wrote this song, and I got to sing this song at two different dam removal ceremonies. One was in Arizona on Fossil Creek. My friend Robin Silver invited me down for that. And that was one of the most amazing moments of my life. Talk about freeing a stream. It was a stream in the desert in the Arizona high country. But they had removed, we were downstream a few miles from the dam, and they knew that they were going to remove the dam at 2:00, and they figured, or maybe it was going to 1:00, they were going to remove the dam, and they thought that the water would show up where we were at 3 p.m. And so we're all there ready to go, and I'm ready to sing this song, and it's 3 p.m. and there's no water. Well, 4 p.m., there's no water. 5 p.m., there's no water, and it's further south there. It's going to start getting dark. So, well, we're going to do this. Obviously, it's taking longer than we thought for the water to arrive from the dam, and so let's do the ceremony. So, Dana, if you would go out and sing Drop of Water, just stand in the stream bed. And so, for me, like, it's this incredibly sacred moment, one of the coolest moments of my life. I'm standing in the stream, and what an honor. This river is being free. It's a small river by our standards, but it's in the desert. It's incredibly important. It's going to bring back a lot of species. And so I'm singing Drop of Water, and my eyes are closed, and I'm totally into it. And I'm singing it like a prayer. My friend Chattiscatum, Wichitalam Lummi leader, who I referenced earlier, he told me one of the most important things I've ever learned, and that's that every song is a prayer. And he said, so when you pray, you put 100% of your concentration into it. And if you find your mind wandering, you bring it back. And he says to me, even Cows with Guns is a prayer. Even a silly song is a prayer. So you have 100. So I was 100% singing Drop of Water. And I was thinking about that river and all the fish that were coming back and how happy the birds and the insects were going to be. And I'm standing there with my eyes closed, and I'm singing the song, and I hear this like hundreds of rocks crashing into each other. And I'm like, oh, wow. I am praying so hard. I'm going into another space. And then I hear this, and I'm like, oh, wow. And then all of a sudden, it was a sound like tens of thousands of insects went whoosh. They're all talking, and then all the birds started going whoosh. And I'm like, oh, wow. And I was in this trance state singing the song, and then all of a sudden, I can feel water over my feet and creeping up my ankles, and I open my eyes, and it was like, oh my God. The water arrived while I was singing Drop of Water. It was amazing. And I said to Robin later, wow, that was amazing timing. And Robin said, no, it wasn't. The river was waiting for you to sing the song.
Yeah.
And you're waiting for me to sing the song. So
you should have sang the song 2 decades earlier.
Where was I?
Not 2 hours, but maybe 2 decades.
Okay, here's Drop of Water. And I'll send this out to my friend Paul Cienfuegos, who requested it. And Paul does all kinds of amazing work for the environment and to protect our democracy. Thank you, Paul, down in Portland. There's a drop of water on the wall, and the drop's about to fall, and it falls into a trickle, and the trickle's flowing down, down, down to the ground, and the moss begins to grow. Watch, 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 watch the water flow, and watch the currents become a stream, a busting through the seams, a cracking through the concrete, bending down the steel, in a raging that is real, a tearing torrent you can feel the thunder growing, the thunder underground, and in my heart the chains falling apart, the wildness in my soul. And for once in life, I know I'm not alone. For the mountains make our bones, with the oceans in our blood, our feet planted firmly in the mud. We are alive, the burning embers in our eyes, the tingling touch upon our skin. In the heat of passion we begin to understand that we are of this land, that we are part of Earth. When she's threatened, we will fight for all we're worth. We watch the dam come crashing down, water rushing to the sea. And now the river, now the river, now the river, now is free. There's a drop of water on the wall, and the drop's about to fall, and it falls into a trickle, and the trickle's flowing down to the ground, and the moss begins to grow. Watch the water flow, and watch the currents become a stream, a busting through the seams, a cracking through the concrete, a bending down the steel, in a raging that is real, a tearing a torrent you can feel the thunder growing, the thunder underground. And in my heart the chains falling apart, water rushing to the sea. And now the river, now the river, now the river, now is free. Thank you. That's an important song to me. It's a friend of mine once came to me. It was at the Okanagan Barter Fair after I played it, and he said when he hears that song, he imagines the dams inside him that are holding himself back from doing what he wants to do, and just breaking and freeing his spirit. I got to sing that at the second dam removal ceremony I sang it at was at the removal ceremony of the Elwha River Dam in the Olympic National Park here in Washington State. And that was one of the most, if not the most profound day of my life. It's the only gig I was so excited about I did not sleep before at all, a wink. It's the only show my entire life. I did not sleep a wink. And I had to sing this song, and I was being backed up by the Port Angeles High School choir, the granddaughters and grandsons of, many of whom were probably the grandsons of and granddaughters of the old growth loggers that we had worked to save the old growth forest. So here, come full circle with the Port Townsend community and the environmentalists and the Native American community. The Jamestown Clallam people were there, and the Elwha people were there, and it was right next to the dam where the ceremony was held, and you could only have the site only held 450 people, so it was by invitation only, which was sad. It was a great honor to be invited, but it was probably about half Jamestown Clallam and Elwha Native American people there, and half activists, and all of our government officials were there. Our senators, our governor, the Secretary of Interior, the Assistant Secretary of Interior, the tribal chairs of the Jamestown Clallam and the Elwha, congressional representatives. They were all there, and it was profound. It was profound because we were doing something good. We were doing something right. American democracy, compromised and challenged as it is, once in a while we actually do something right, and it can take a long time. And we worked 100 years to remove those dams. The Native Americans were working 100 years to remove them. The rest of us joined probably about 50 years before. So it was a big deal. And they finally passed the law to remove them, and then it took another 10 years to get the money to remove those dams. And then I got invited to sing this song, and I was the last in the program with the choir. It was beautiful, and the high schoolers were rocking that thing. I don't know if any of them are watching now from Port Angeles. Of course, that was some years ago, so they're out doing their thing wherever they live now. But it was an amazing moment. And then after I sang, the head of the National Park Service gets the mic and says, and now we're going to introduce Secretary of Interior Salazar, who will give the order to begin the demolition of the dam. And Secretary Salazar comes up. He's got the bullhorn, and I hereby order the beginning of the demolition of the Elwha Dam. And these two giant excavators swing their buckets into the dam. Boom. And there are cement shards going everywhere. And I'm like, I don't want to be hit by one of those things. Boom. And everyone's applauding. Everyone's applauding. Our senators are applauding, and the governor's applauding, and all the Congress, and everyone's applauding. And I'm looking around going, that all the politicians are applauding a giant backhoe smashing into a dam. Is this real? And I'm like, I'm pinching myself. You ever been in a state where, is this a dream? Or you're in a dream, am I awake? Is this? And I'm like, I just couldn't believe it. And at that moment, this elder Native American man, he walks up to me and he sees the look on my face. He goes, can you believe this? And it was real. It was real. We did that. We removed those dams. The salmon and the steelhead are flowing free up the Elwha River. That's more that the orcas can eat. That's more that the people can eat. Okay? And that's why part of what we're doing, we have a whole bunch of things we have to do to save the orca, but we got to remove those lower Snake River dams because that'll open up all that beautiful king salmon habitat in Idaho. And wow, is that a beautiful place up there. I was camping out near those dams last week. I drove by a couple of them. But someday, hopefully soon, the sooner the better for the orca, but sometimes democracy takes time. But when the people of the Salish Sea show enough political will, when our elected officials are getting enough phone calls and enough letters, and when everyone is starting to say, we've got to remove the dams on the lower Snake River to help the orca, to help the salmon, when there's enough of that, we will prevail. We will prevail on that. Remember the things in the past that we've done. No one thought those would happen. No one thought we'd stop those coal terminals. No one would thought we'd stop the Skagit nuclear power plant. Few people thought we would remove those dams in on the Elwha. We can do it. We can do it. That's one of the things we need to do. But yep, stay proud, stay going. I'm gonna bring Rain back in here. Rain, I got inspired. I got into a long story there. I'm very excited. There he is.
I am so glad you got inspired. You always are inspired and inspiring, Dana. So thank you.
Thank you, Rain. Wow, just any reminders on what people can do, where they can go, the Orca Month Facebook page and the Orca Month website to learn more about the orcas, educating ourselves, learning more about the orcas. And orcas are so cool. They're fun to learn about. You know, if you've got children in your home, that's a great thing to teach them about. But that's educating ourselves about the issues, the first thing. Any other things pop to mind? There, Rain.
And then finding the channels to engage in ways to make a difference. Habitat restoration for salmon, educating kids. We did story time for the last 4 weeks on Fridays and read books. Connecting with your legislators, holding even your mayor or city council or county council accountable, and get them to pledge to help protect and save the Salish Sea. Local electeds have a big impact on local issues. So those are some of the things that come to mind as
Absolutely.
As we end Orca Month, and Orca Month should continue on in your own way into July, into August, and into the fall.
Yep. Slow but sure. Slow but sure. Well, maybe, Rain, maybe I'll close with the salmon song that you requested earlier. It's called Salmon Come Home. Excuse me. And I wrote this song in a tiny Athabascan village up in Alaska. And my friends up there, they were fighting to stop a coal mine on a river. They were going to dig up many miles, a quarter mile down of an entire river, just dig it up 300 feet down for coal. It's a beautiful salmon river, and the Athabascan village of Tyonek, that was their salmon river. And so they flew me up there. They hired me to be a camp counselor, which was really fun in the village for a week. It was a blast. But when I got there, they were taking the kids to do a set net, where they take the net out from the beach to catch salmon, and the Native Americans are allowed to use those there. And and I sat down, and this elder, Chad Chikalusian, sat down with me straight away, and he starts telling me the history of their tribe, like back 100 years, back to the previous pandemic, and how they were affected by the 1918 flu pandemic. And he's just telling me all this stuff. I'm like, oh my God, he's writing the song for me. He's giving me the song right now. And so I memorized it and I put this down. But really, this applies to all of salmon country. And salmon country goes all the way up from the Yukon River in Alaska all the way down to Santa Cruz in California. This is salmon territory. This is at least the Pacific. This is the Pacific salmon territory for North America. And so I'll dedicate this to the Native Americans, the Native Alaskans up who are fighting to stop the pebble mine, to protect the largest remaining red salmon run in the world, and the fight to protect other rivers, and all the Native peoples who are leading the fight in British Columbia, to the Lummi and the Yakima and other Native nations here leading the fight. It's a really amazing time, because especially on salmon issues and fossil fuel export issues, pipelines, coal, natural gas, oil, a lot of these fights are being led by Native activists, Native American activists. And that makes it so much more powerful. It's so much more powerful because it makes it, one, it's just exciting because you're you're dealing with the people who are from here. It's powerful. And so there's the Native American leaders. There's those of us who are not Native Americans who are working on it. And there's 3 sets of rights in the courts. This makes a big difference. There's those of us who are citizens of the United States. We have our set of rights with the laws, and we have a right to have those laws enforced, and we do that as environmental groups and individuals. The Native Americans have treaty rights that give them certain rights regarding the land and the water and the fish. They can do things, go to court or whatever to enforce their rights. And then the orcas are endangered species. So as an endangered species, they have a set of rights. And with the confluence of all those rights, that's when we make progress. And so I'm going to dedicate this to all the many Native American leaders in the United States and Canada who are working to protect our waters. And really, we're talking about the whole Salish Sea. We're talking about the orcas, and really, we're talking about the whole world. This is climate change affects every last thing, and one of the fascinating elements of this sad pandemic that we're under is it affects all of us. Every single one of us, no matter how rich or how poor, we are affected. Now, probably affected in different ways, but climate change affects us all also. So what I pray is that this is a learning experience, that we as humanity learn that we're all in this together, and we need to take care of each other, and we need to respect the other species, and we need to evolve into a truly sustainable culture so we can live in abundance with all of creation. So that is really what it's going to take to save the orca. So we have our work cut out for us. But we're alive. We love our families. We love our friends. We love our community, and we love our places, and we love our fellow species. So we're going to do everything we can. We're going to do our best. We're going to do all we can. The best we can do is the best we can do. All right, here's Salmon Come Home, and I'll let you go, Ray, and I'll bring you back for any quick closing comments at the end. I'm sending this song out to my brother Jewel James with the Lummi Nation, who has fought his entire adult life to protect the salmon, to protect Lummi treaty rights, to protect the treaty rights of peoples all over, native peoples all over North and South America. So this goes out to you, Jewel, and also to Kurt Rousseau, my brother Kurt Rousseau. Here, both of them live here in the Bellingham area, and they're heroes and fighting for the salmon, fighting for the orca. This song's for you. The salmon come home again and again since the beginning of time, the beginning of when we've been living here. We've been living here forever. The salmon come home again and again since the beginning of time, the beginning of when we've been living here. We've been living on this land forever. Then the Russians came for the furrin ground. They built log forts, and we burned them down. Then the great flu came, taking old and young. We gathered who was left, and we begin again. The salmon come home again and again since the beginning of time, the beginning of when we've been living here. We've been living here forever. The salmon come home again and again since the beginning of time, the beginning of when we've been living here. We've been living on this land forever. Then the oil rigs came, promising us jobs, leaving oil sheens as we carry on. Then the loggers came, taking the great trees, leaving mountains bare, leaving muddy streams. The salmon come home again and again since the beginning of time, the beginning of when we've been living here. We've been living here forever. The salmon come home again and again since the beginning of time, the beginning of when we've been living here. We've been living on this land forever. Now they come for the coal underneath our river to destroy our home, take our children's future. We are one small town, we are one proud people. We are one with salmon, we are one with eagle. We are one small town, we are one proud people. We are still surviving, we are still surviving. I do not believe Creator wants this to happen. I do not believe Creator wants this to happen. I do not believe Creator wants this to happen. I do not believe Creator wants this to happen. The salmon come home again and again since the beginning of time, the beginning of when we've been living here. We've been living here forever. The salmon come home again and again since the beginning of time, the beginning of when we've been living here. We've been living on this land forever. We've been living here. We've been living on this land forever. The salmon come home again and 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 again.
Fantastic! Woo!
Thank you, Rain. Oh, I love singing that song.
Thank you, Dana.
Well, we got such a big team, Rain. There's so many. There's a lot of full-time activists working on it. There's thousands of people. There's thousands of school children working for the orcas. It gives me such hope. It's such an inspiring issue to work on, and also you catch a glimpse of the orcas and you go, that's who we're fighting for. So yeah, I want to thank the Orca Network, the Orca Salmon Alliance, Washington Environmental Council, people for Puget Sound. Not sure if I've.
Well, and thank you, Dana.
Yeah.
It's been a fun virtual Orca Month. And individuals like you who have such amazing stories and put it into words and music and share it with people really resonates. And you're a wonderful messenger and wonderful storyteller. And we are blessed to have you in this region and participate in our efforts.
Thank you, Rain.
And thank you to all our audience members for chiming in today.
Yes, thanks for watching, and stay healthy, stay happy, stay as sane as you can, and keep working for the Orca and for all of Mother Earth. All right. We'll talk soon, Rain. Hajka, over and out.
Ciao.
Bye.